Yes, because I went home for Connecticut for the summer. I left June 6th. And I just looked at October 6th.
Oh,
Yeah, 3.5 months. No, it's starting here.
so you said black without that.
Amazing. You actually had to get social on the phone. You have to be able to hear the conversation.
Yeah, I could. When that comes to you, it's small percentage, but you have trong hương đô xóm là mười phương nguyện nguyện kinh đức nhân sư vô lượng cầu cầu xin chứng tâm thành chúng con. Vần vần khói kết mây gần cũng chiều, đạo niệm mơ đã truyền tay cùng nói. Nhờ chân lý chúng sanh đều thoát rồi, nhờ quý kinh quỷ dưới đại sen, rất quá tâm tình kia màu thắm tươi cành. Đại quang minh trang huy hoàn trang, ân thương điều nào qua nào nhìn đạo hiên trên soi khắp hùng quần xanh. Phật nào đông cùng nhau tu tinh tấn học tiếng này. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật.
Giới hương định hương giữ về hương, giải thoát tri kiến hương quang minh vân đài điện pháp giới thập phương tam bảo tiền. Nam mô Hương Cúng Dường Bồ Tát. Nam mô Hương Cúng Dường Bồ Tát. Nam mô Hương Cúng Dường Bồ Tát Ma. Phật thân thánh tình tận lưu ly, Phật nhiệt vô như mãn nguyệt huy. Phật tài thế gian thường cứu khổ, Phật tâm vô sự bất từ bi. Như tâm đảnh lễ Nam mô Tần Thư Công Biện Pháp giới qua hiền vị lai thập phương chư Phật. Tôn Pháp hiền thánh tăng thường trú tam bảo. Như tâm đảnh lễ Nam mô Ta Bà Giáo Chủ Điệu Ngự Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Đường lai hà sanh Di Lặc Tôn Phật. Đại Trí Văn Thù Sư Lợi Bồ Tát. Đại Hạnh Phổ Hiền Bồ Tát. Hộ Pháp Chư Tôn Bồ Tát. Linh Sơn Hội Thượng Phật Bồ Tát. Nhường tâm đảnh lễ Nam mô Tây Phương Cực Lạc Thế Giới. Đại Từ Đại Bi A Di Đà Phật. Đại Bi Quang Thế Âm Bồ Tát. Đại Hạnh Phổ Hiền Bồ Tát. Đại Nguyện Tam Hương Bồ Tát. Thanh Tịnh Đại Hải Chúng Bồ Tát.
Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to practice meditation. For the newcomers, I would like to give you some basic guidance how to meditate. Now, please everyone sit comfortable on kitchen or perched or chair. Use your hands to massage your feet, your neck, legs, arm, and back. Be comfortable for meditation session. In Buddhism, there are many ways you can meditate in order to achieve the state of mind. The most effective and common method we use is following your out breath. In this method, you need to choose the touching point of your breath, usually the area around the ear or the middle part of the head. When you breathe in, mildly acknowledge your breath as by touching point. When you breathe out, mildly acknowledge your breath as by touching point. But the most important advice, you need to follow your breath continuously in order to avoid the arising of sin of thought in your mind. However, if you start from outside or unwanted thought arising in your mind, don't follow. Return to the main object of meditation with your breath and touching point. When you hear the second inhale at the end of meditation, once again, with your mindfulness, use your hands on the side of the face, your neck, your comfortable breath, be comfortable and ready for breathing section. I always remind myself every morning, when you go home, try to practice meditation every day. Early in the morning, late at night, long, short sessions can go after convenience. However, if you do it faithfully, every day, with due time, you will achieve a state of one. Wisdom will together and happiness to follow. Thank you.
Heart Sutra. Evoking the Buddhist names.
Namo Buddhaya, 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 Namo
In reciting the Mahaprajna Heart Sutra, we dedicate its merits to the great Master Shakyamuni Buddha, the all-pervading and everlasting three treasures, to the peace of the world, the peace of this temple, the strength and sound practice of its members, to the restoration and health of the natural world, its waters, plants, and creatures, and to all efforts in its service with gratitude. May this good karma be extended to all relations, and may we realize the Buddha way together.
All Buddhas throughout space and time, all Bodhisattvas, all Buddhas throughout space and time, all Bodhisattvas, all Buddhas throughout space and time, all Bodhisattvas,
The Metta Sutta.
This is what should be done by one who is filled with goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not specific, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in real ways. He is good and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and humane in nature. Let the man who despises him, wishing him happiness and safety, may always be at peace. Whether living beings there may be, whether they're weak or strong, may they not. The great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those near and far away, those wanting to be born, may all beings be at peace. Let none conceal another, or despise any being in any trait. Let none who reign the ill will wish harm upon another. Even as the mother protects her life, to child upon child, so with the body's heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths. Ours is unbounded, free from hatred and ill will. Whether standing or walking, sitting or lying down, free from drowsiness, one should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the supply of abiding. By not holding to experience, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being free from all sense desires, is not born again in the world of sorrow. May I be happy and well. May all come to me. May I learn from the May all my friends happy and those around me happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn from passion. May all those who in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn from passion. May all those who have hurt me in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn from passion. May all those who I have hurt in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn from passion. May all mind and peace be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn from passion. May all living beings be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn from passion.
Eighth, the sweet nectar.
Buddha Saranam Gacchami Dhammam Saranam Gacchami Sangham Saranam Gacchami Buddha Saranam Gacchami Dhammam Saranam Gacchami Sangham Saranam Gacchami Buddha Saranam Gacchami Dhammam Saranam Gacchami Sangham Saranam one with the Buddha in the 10 directions, being one with the Dhamma in the 10 directions, being one with the Sangha in the 10 directions, being one with all the homeless come through space and time, being one with our original teachers, Buddha, being one with the Vedas, Supreme Bodhisattva, being one with the Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, being one with the great compassionate Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, being one with the Mahaprajna Paramita, being one with the unconditioned Tathagata, being one with the boundless Tathagata, being nourished and sustained us, being one with the unconceivable body Tathagata, and the nectar of Namaste for being one with the Buddha's entering the water will of compassion. Namo Avalokiteshvara, Namo Avalokiteshvara, Namo Avalokiteshvara.
Supplication for the raising of the voting mind, bow to the hungry spirits.
Raising the voting
reminders of refuge offered to all the hungry spirits to our space and time, building the smallest particles to the largest space. For you hungry spirits in the 10 directions, please gather here, sharing your distress. I offer you this food, hoping it will restore your thirst and
Prayer for sharing.
I pray that all who receive this offering will return its merits to all Buddha and to all creations through our space and time. In this way they will be thoroughly satisfied.
Prayer for wisdom of mind.
I further pray that in receiving this meal, all your suffering will be eliminated, and that you will be liberated, so that we enjoy the sweet pure and raising in my hand, practicing the enlightened way to become the future Buddha without any further regrets. So who realize the way must be found to liberate from all the Buddha's faith.
Prayer to fulfill these vows.
I further beseech you to sustain me day and night and give me courage to fulfill my vow.
Prayer for transferring merit of this practice.
In offering this meal, I pray that you give this mercy equally to all creations in the Dharma. Go teach transfer the merits of this offering to the Dharma. Go come to reality, to unsurpassable enlightenment, and to all the Buddha's wisdom.
With all our love, with all our spirits, with all our might, uniting history and suffering, no longer we vow to accomplish the way. May all creations in the Dharma world swiftly accomplish the Buddha way together.
All Buddhas who have space and time, all Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, Mahaprajna, all Buddhas who have space and time, all Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, Mahaprajna, all Buddhas who have space and time, all Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca mâu ni Phật Tất Đại Chứng Minh. Nam mô Đông Phương Giáo Chủ Tiểu Tái Nhiên Thọ Dược Sư Lưu Ly Quang Vương Phật Tất Đại Chứng Minh. Nam mô Tần Thánh Cứu Khổ Cứu Nạn Đại Từ Đại Bi Quang Thế Âm Bồ Tát Tất Đại Chứng Minh. Từ thời đệ tử xuất gia cùng tại gia cung tưu Phật tiện thành tâm phụng tùng pháp bảo tôn kinh. Cầu hồi hướng Tây phương trang nghiêm tinh đồ thượng bảo tự trọng ưng hà thế tam đồ phổ nguyện. Cầu cho thế giới hòa bình chư tái tiêu diệt tật bệnh sớm được tiêu trừ tại khó nan khỏi. Phổ nguyện gia đình rôn hen cho sanh đa ma sanh pháp. Cập kỳ an cho Phật tử tên phi chắc 57 tuổi. Tái qua nàng khỏi tật bệnh sớm được tiêu trừ. Phổ nguyện cập kỳ an cho tất cả Phật tử tại tu viện các trắng hứng su hương thời mạng vị bình an tứ thời an lạc. Sở trụ phóng nhiêu kiết tưởng như ý cập phổ nguyện. Kỳ siêu chương lân cứu quyền thân tổ đa sanh phụ mẫu ly thế oan hưng. Chương linh trụ tại đất Già Lam này thịnh pháp văn kinh tóc xả mê đồ siêu sanh tịnh đồ. Nhớ ngàn nước đạt phạt tội văn tiêu nguyện chương linh đắc tịnh độ cao siêu vì gia khuyên hàm chiêm lời lạc. Thân dương dục phụ mẫu sanh thành đàn na tín cũng tăng nghịch phước điền. Pháp giới nhân thiên giải còn thành Phật đạo.
I feel going to take care of this more. Every Sunday, I have to bring the chair home. Right? Make sure you know, make sure you don't fall. You have to see. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Wow, welcome back. Who's will come through first time show on one? 1, 2. We have 2 young members. I would like you to give you to us, right? Name, where I'm from, how can you find out by saying and make a big decision to come to try this one? You first.
Hi, my name is Justin. I was born in Tampa, raised all around the country, in the south of Orlando. And I came here once a year ago, wanted to share more time. Found a way to a couple of weeks ago, and this is my first time sitting with you. Thank you.
We welcome you.
Hi, my name is Miguel. I'm from Pennsylvania, born there, same as all around the country. I live north of Orlando, and I've been just accompanying Justin here. Met previously. This is a shared interest of ours. So thank you very much for allowing me to be here. This will be the first time.
We're happy here.
Today, they officially come in for the
Okay.
service, yeah.
Okay, so you plan to come back?
Please.
Okay, so you stay in Central Florida, right?
Yep.
Dr. Chow, they've also been volunteering their labor. for
That's
over a
very important. Well, the newcomers, Justin and Ralph, we're happy to have you here. And the rest of us, we will be here every Sunday. We Sunday service, you attend at the beginning, meditation, chanting, and introduce you to the growth. And the next section is the Dharma. And I said, this is more. This is more action. Deep down. I think 3 times a month.
Yeah, for sure.
You here and not be a chapter of the month. So you'll welcome anybody and all yours.
Thank you. So last time I was here, I talked a little bit about this book that I've been reading during quarantine times and stuff about Lao Fan's 4 lessons. You can look this up. You're not going to be lost if you haven't read the book. Don't worry about it. But this is out there. It's free online and stuff. But just to recap slightly, so basically there's this fellow named Lao Fan, who was born during the Ming Dynasty in China, about 1550. And he wrote this book for his son to teach him about the lessons that had guided his life. And so the first lesson is that your destiny can be changed. So we don't talk really about destiny very much in Buddhism, but the idea is that if we don't kind of change our minds, we'll tend to replay the same mistakes over and over again. So you can kind of look at destiny that way, sort of what you're programmed to do, that's what you're going to do, unless you make a significant change. And once you do that, you're not stuck in the same rut. So to change your destiny for the better, this was the first lesson, do good things. So I'm going to talk about the last 3 lessons a little bit today. And really, this book is so fascinating. It's over 300 years old, but it's so interesting and fascinating to see how they were talking about some things that we're still discovering today. And that if you put into practice, you'll realize the benefits from this. So the second lesson is that before you go around trying to change your mind completely, the first step is to reform your character. So we in the West don't like this word reform. It has some connotations that are sort of unpleasant. But think about the idea of form and changing it, right? So reshaping your life, basically, is what it's doing. If you wanted to do that, if you wanted to reshape some aspect of your life, you'd first have to stop doing some things that lead to suffering and start doing some things that lead to health and happiness and things like that. So if you went to see Dr. Chow and he said, you're probably going to have a heart attack soon if you don't do something, the first thing he'd have you do probably is to stop doing some of the things that are creating health problems. If you're a smoker, he's going to tell you what? Stop smoking, right? And then, You try, yeah. And then, and then you start doing some good things. But the first thing you do is you stop doing some of the things that are leading you to harm. And so Lao Fan talked about 3 things that are kind of necessary in order to reform. You're not going to like these either, but maybe you will after we talk about them. So the first one is to feel shame. The second is to know fear. And the third is to have determination and courage. So we don't really like this word shame very much in our culture either. And I'm not crazy about it, partly because we think we've come to use the word shame as a sort of a hateful thing. So to be ashamed of oneself is to be self-hating. To be ashamed of someone else is to think they're not good, right? And that's just not what I mean. I mean to recognize that what we've done is harmful, but not to hate ourselves for being bad. It's kind of important, though. Think about the way some things have gone in our society, how there are people sometimes who, because they've attained a certain status in life or a certain degree of power or a certain degree of wealth or something, think that they don't need to be held accountable. There was an athlete, so probably 10 or 12 years ago, who got busted being involved with dogfighting. And after he got busted, and he ended up paying fines and stuff like that, and he was required to make a statement to like a judge or something like that, a statement of apology. And his apology was basically, well, I didn't realize someone as rich and powerful as me could get in trouble. Right? I'm sorry I got caught. So he did not say, I understand that what I did was wrong. I understand that what I did was harmful and discompassionate and even, evil because it's leading to someone else's harm. He would have been an improved person if he had been able to experience some shame about what he'd done. In other words, recognize that he had done something that was bad and that hurt someone. So Lao Fan, of course, didn't know about professional athletes, but he quoted Mencius, and who said that one who knows shame will put forth their best efforts into correcting their faults and eventually become a virtuous person. So this is what we mean. First step is to know that what we're doing is not virtuous so that we can recognize that and do something about it. And then the second one was to know fear. So again, we don't like the idea of knowing fear either. This doesn't mean walk around being fearful or walking around or being anxious. It means to be aware that some things have bad consequences and to be wary of that. So the law of karma is if you do a good thing, you get a good result. If you do a bad thing, you get a bad result. We like to think about doing the good things. We don't much like to think about the bad things. And that kind of makes sense on a psychological level. Again, it's really fascinating to look at this book and kind of work with some of this stuff and see some parallels to what's going on today. There's a management theory field called intentional change theory. And this didn't exist when I was in business school, but I found out about it later. Basically, they talk about the positive emotional attractors and negative emotional attractors, which, in other words, things that make you feel good, things that make you feel bad. And the sort of the three key points for creating a meaningful transformation is first having a vision based on what your ideal self would be. Where do you want to go? You know, they're talking in a management field, so, you know, what kind of manager would you want to be, or what sort of career would you want to have? But you can look at your life. What would be the ideal me for me? What would be my ideal situation? And have that so you know what you want to be changing to move toward. And then to create a personal vision based on that, among other things, you have to feel good about that. But there's this other thing, negative emotional attractors. Something makes you feel bad. And those are actually required to move someone from having this vision to actually taking action. So in order to make a positive change, you have to spend a lot more time, or to make a meaningful change, you have to spend a lot more time in the positive. But in order to get you moving in that direction, you need to recognize something negative. So, you know, we all know, I need to eat better and exercise more, right? And sometimes that'll get you there. But when you wake up and you feel terrible, or you step on the scales and you see you've gained weight, or you go to the doctor and he says you're going to have a heart attack or whatever, now you've got a motivator. And I've said many times here, you know, that spiritual progress never comes out of feeling good about stuff. Almost always, you know, somebody recognizes that they're experiencing suffering and wants to do something about that. And the Buddha was no exception. He recognized that despite all of the luxury that he lived with and everything, that he was subject to birth and death and illness and old age. And he decided he wanted to do something to transcend that cycle. So if you look at kind of the ancient terminology that Lao Fan used, he said, if my bad deeds are serious, then all kinds of adversities will befall me. So if you're looking at what you're doing, you realize, okay, if this is a seriously bad thing I'm doing, I'm going to have a negative result. And then the third part is to have determination and courage. So resolve to begin reforming now, and then stick to it, even when there are setbacks. So once you've done that, then what? And he talks about 3 ways to reform: changing through action, changing through reason, changing from the heart. So this is where it gets interesting. We all know that to just force a change in behavior for ourselves is a very difficult thing to do. If you try to break a bad habit, to just say, well, I'm just not going to do this anymore, you know, it's very hard to do. But it's necessary to change our behavior if we're going to change our life. So it helps if you kind of reason it out a little bit. What are the benefits of making this change? How do I go about making the change? So you're thinking about, anybody got a bad habit they're wanting to break? That you're willing, okay, what's your bad habit?
Speaking more than I listen.
Speaking more than you listen. So, okay. Do you tend to like cut people off when they're talking and that sort of thing? Okay. All right. Good. Thank you for sharing that. So if you wanted to change that habit, if you just said, okay, from now on, I'm not going to talk, I'm going to listen more and talk less, that's going to be a hard thing to do. So the first step in changing that habit is going to be to think about, okay, what are going to be the benefits of changing? And really, what does that look like? And you kind of have to look fairly specific at the behaviors. Okay, so maybe I'm just going to kind of speculate here. We haven't talked about this, but maybe you interrupt people when they talk. When they're talking, you're thinking about what you're going to say instead of thinking about what they're saying, or, you know, listening carefully. You maybe you don't do very much active listening, but you do a whole lot of active talking, right? So that sort of thing. I mean, that's the kind of things that people who talk too much and listen too little, or have that out of balance, tend to do. So you could look and go, okay, so first of all, why would I want to change this? Well, you could make a list of pros and cons if you wanted to. So pros of changing that habit. Maybe I'll learn more because I'll listen more. I'll hear more about what people have to say. Maybe people will like me more because you seem like a good guy. So like I said, I'm just speculating. But maybe people get irritated at me because I talk too much. So they'll be less irritated. They'll like to be around me more. And those kinds of things. So you can kind of look and say, what would I get out of making this change? And then change from the heart. So this is kind of not a real easy thing to understand, the idea of changing from the heart. So a lot of time when we're looking at these advantages, we're looking at kind of short-term thoughts. But if you can tie this to your greater purpose, what is your life really about, right? So, and if you don't know, this is a question you should be asking yourself. What moves me? What gives my life meaning? What gives my life meaning that's beyond today and beyond even this particular form? So, we come here and we talk about, we do say certain things, we chant things, we sing things, and so on. One of the things we talk about is, may all beings be happy. We all recited the Metta Sutra together. So maybe my life is about living better so that I make a better world, so that more beings can be happy as a result of my being here. We talk about things like, may all beings become enlightened. The last thing that we do is, we want all beings to realize the Buddha way together. So how can I tie this change that I want to make to my spiritual path, to living the Buddha way? And so that kind of thing really can deepen that commitment in a way that's much more meaningful than just, well, I want to lose 5 pounds, or, well, I want to have more friends, or whatever. Not that there's anything wrong with those things. It just expands that beyond that. And so now it can become a change from the heart. I want to become a better person for the benefit of the world I'm in. And so as a result, I'm going to make this change. So that would be the third aspect of that. So the third lesson is to cultivate kindness. And Lao Fan goes through a list of 10 ways to do that. I'm going to kind of throw a few of them out here because they're things that we can be thinking about. One is to support the practice of kindness. You're doing that right now. You can check that off. You've done that today. You've supported the practice of kindness by being here and supporting a spiritual community. Helping those in need. So when you see someone who's suffering, you can help them out. Protecting the proper teaching. Again, you're doing that now by supporting a monastery, loving and cherishing all living beings. So this would be an area where you can kind of see this change that you want to make as being an act of kindness. If I can listen to someone who needs to be heard and give them that gift, then refraining from talking at that point and listening mindfully, listening with full attention is an act of kindness. So if we start to see our lives as an act of kindness, we're going to start creating a kinder world, and we get to live in that kinder world. So this is part of how we change our destiny. We make ourselves better people, and in the process, we make the world that we live in better. So the first lesson is humility. Don't be arrogant. That's pretty much what that comes down to. And a lot of times people will ask, so if I'm doing something good in order to get a good result, then is it still something good? Is it still altruistic? If you're doing something good in order to be of benefit to others, even if you know you're going to get a good result, then it's still beneficial, it's still meritorious. If you're doing something good so you can come up front and get a reward for it, maybe not so much, right? So think about your intentions. And you don't need to talk about how good you are, right? You just need to do good things. Think about a spiritual community. If you move to another place, don't stay here. But if you move to another place and you wanted to find a spiritual community that you could be a part of, say you went in and you saw, wow, everybody here says this is a really good place to be, and they tell me how good it is, what a great temple they have, and the abbot talks about what a great teacher he is. Or you go into a place and everybody just seems to be really happy and really benefiting from the teachings. Which place are you going to go back to, right? So yeah, sure, the second one, the one where everybody seems to be really living the Dharma. So with your life, you want to be living the Dharma. You don't have to talk about how you're living the Dharma, just do it. And that's how you get the benefit from it. So that's Lao Fan's 4 lessons in a real nutshell. If you want to know more, you can talk to me and I'll direct you toward the book. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions or comments? Do we have to move on? Listen to this talk. I feel like you probably this is the right topic of what you talking about for the last time. So, changing the destiny is that listening to him is a lot of things you need to practice on. So it's not easy. I would like to tell you the story about my practice in the language. I run into me and asked me, last time I come in the office, I had to put sanitizer and I had to wear masks and I had to check the temperature. And then that's you try to avoid COVID-19 patient coming to the office, right? I said, yes, of course. A lot more than we can put on a mask. Because you do everything, I come here and I don't feel comfortable. But still patients bring it up to me. I press on to do the story, this is our new normal now until we have something better. We do very well in Orlando here. I share with you my experience. I practice 2 hospitals. And every week they give me the information about how the COVID patients went to the hospital. Up to now, we are very low now. So I know the news, we still somewhere area research now. However, we are doing okay down here. I anticipate this is the new normal order. When before you decide to come to the temple, if you don't feel comfortable, decide not to come. When you have some symptoms, don't come. When you come here, we still doing the temperature for you, and we still request you to wear a mask. And we chanting, we keep like this before until hopefully I always believe on that. We've been using the vaccine for viral infection many years. So if we have the vaccine, everybody gets, and then we change the normal. We can take off the mask, then come back to normal. So I just remind you that the way we do now, White said, right? Let's do that. And any other announcement you want to share now? Ron?
Just that we're going to try to have a garage sale on the 5th, 6th, and 7th of November.
Okay.
If anybody has anything to donate to that, we appreciate it. Just make sure it's something that you will want.
All right. So we appreciate the work you've done for us and especially to you. I will need to volunteer. And I'm sure what you listen today, that we can share your recipe by coming here, practice meditation, and do the meditation for all 5 days. Okay. Anything else? Let's sing the song together. How are you? You know, one of the members here, he's one of the oldest members we have here. Been doing well. You know, not voice member has been doing well for the last 6 months. We haven't got any problems yet. Because we pray for them. Let's sing along together this one. I feel happy. I feel happy. I feel happy. Because I have grown recently. Whenever I feel happy. Whenever I feel happy. Whenever I feel happy. Because I have to go to me. Here I am now. Here I am now. Here I am now. The truth of Thank you very much. How the upcoming retreat now, Sense Morning? How are we doing? The upcoming retreat, 3-day retreat. You want to say?
We're not going to do it.
Oh, we cancel it?
Because of COVID concerns and stuff, people are just not signing up, so.
So you see that we plan, actually, Sense Morris and Well plan for the 3-day retreat for member students, but we have to cancel. Sorry to hear, but I'm sure we can do it next year.
Yeah, hopefully in the summer, maybe.
Okay, so we have them together. I wish you all happy whole week, and we see you again on Sunday next week. Right?